Right, so now we've got that carrier off, it makes it accessible to get the disc and the drum combined in. But what you might find is if the brake shoes are adjusted out, this is not going to come off very easy. You see it's quite stuck on, and what these have got is a little adjuster, and what you're looking for is you have to find it by looking through one of the holes where your wheel nuts go, and the spring normally runs across here, your top spring. They're a set of shoes like a normal brake set of shoes, brake drum shoes, only a lot smaller. And what you do is look for this little hole and try and line up. You can see a little tiny wheel with teeth, and you have to wind that along until the shoes get put like on their minimum adjustment, and then this should come off. So that's what we've got to do. Again, very awkward to film in there, but I'll show you once it comes off. So as I said, it's a job to see, but you can just kind of see through that hole there. There's a little bit of a spring, and to the side of that is that little cog we're going to turn to wind the shoes back so we can get the disc drum away.
Yeah. That's it, right, Lee? Yeah?
Yeah. Yes, after a lot more winding, it's retracted those shoes, so we can now release that disc. And what we're going to do now is just take the hub off, and that'll give you hopefully a little bit more of a better view. Remembering we took the hub nut off, and also that little screw that holds the disc on earlier on while the brakes were still connected. So yeah, now you can see that little wheel there that we were there it is, there, little wheel that we were just gently turning round, and we wound it right in, so those shoes retracted in, and you can see there how it turns just a little bit. It's sitting right above the springs, so a bit of a fiddly job, and also quite difficult to find. But when you know where it is, it's a lot easier to find when you're looking through that hole. And both sides you wind it down to bring the shoes in so you can get that disc off, and then when you're readjusting you'll be winding it up, and hopefully again we'll show you that when we put it all back together. So now it's time to remove those shoes, and also then go on to remove the back plate. Right, so like many shoes in a drum brake, they're held on with the two little pins with a bit of spring, and hopefully you can see there
piece that goes through the back plate.
Yeah, and locks it on. So that's very similar to a lot of drum brakes. They often do it slightly different ways, but very, very similar. Yeah, and this is something when we first got our 75, we hadn't quite realised this is how it was done, although we quite like the way that this is done, having a separate little drum brake for your handbrake and your disc brakes for your main foot brake. It keeps them separate, because on the 45s it's all in one, and actually we quite like this system. What we've also been doing is photographing this, because it's well worth doing that. And as I've been saying all along, although we're only showing you the passenger side, we're doing the driver side at the back exactly the same, and we took photos of both sides, because it's surprising when you come back to do it, or even when it all comes off and comes off in bits, how you forget exactly the way things were. Especially
take particular notice of this.
Yeah, especially this mechanism here, and also your winding adjusting mechanism, which way that goes round, and how the springs. We've got it on video, but it's always good to quickly look at a photograph rather than trying to sort of rewind and fast forward through a video to confirm that's how the layout is. And it's always worth checking in a manual as well, because you never know whoever did this last might have done something wrong, even though it's still working. But to have those photos really does make it visually right, and once you check that is the way it should be, perhaps from a manual, then you can use those photos as a real visual reference. Right, so once those holding pins are out, as you can see, it's a case of pulling it away, and as you pull it away it does kind of come to bits, and what we've been left with is this mechanism hooked onto the handbrake cable. And hopefully if I bring the light around you can see how the handbrake cable hooks into that, and again it's well worth photographing that, as we said, to make sure you get that back the right way, as it just will not necessarily work properly.
Right, now, this, yeah, right, that comes out there like that. Important to get that running the right way. Now we're going to undo those bolts, and the handbrake will then come out from the other side like that, and the back plate will come off.
Right, so as you see there, we just pulled the handbrake cable back, and what holds this back plate on is these 4 bolts there,